First of all, thank you very much for having us, having me here at this really beautiful event. Thanks, Fred, and the whole Cardano team for pulling this off. We're doing events also in our home turf in Switzerland, so I know the kind of work that is involved with pulling something like this off. So that's really great to be here. So very happy to do this together with the Cardano Foundation and Murgo, this battle of builders. That's what I like best when it gets really down to looking at projects, at the pioneers, the founders that are presenting their ideas. That's why we are doing what we are doing as a VC. So we are called CVVC, that stands for Crypto Valley Venture Capital. And before I can tell you how that ecosystem approach works, this is the core of our investment thesis with which we invest. You probably need to understand a little bit about our history. So our DNA is Switzerland, home of over 1,000 blockchain projects. And if you look at that development over time of this blockchain ecosystem called Crypto Valley, you can see that it started small. We have just celebrated 10 years of Ethereum 2 weeks ago. Many of the founders, including Charles, were in Switzerland receiving their Lifetime Achievement Awards as co-founders of Ethereum. That happened in 2014. And in the background, that like mountain-like scheme, you can see this is the number of companies and how they evolved. The number evolved over time. And we go back to 2016. That's when we started. My background, I'm a tech guy. I've been investing in Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, so it's probably normal that I got in touch with blockchains and smart contracts early on. Funny enough, we started at the same time as the Cardano Foundation in 2016, and we weren't blockchain focused, so we were supporting European digital startups at the time. When something very interesting happened, suddenly not a dozen, not 2 dozen, not 100, thousands of projects from all over the world came to Switzerland. Why? There was a regulator that said, if you comply with these rules, you can set up shop in crypto and blockchain here. Number one. Number two, there was a fast-growing ecosystem, service providers, lawyers, savvy lawyers that could set up the foundations the right way. You have developers, you have marketing people. So this grew very fast. And something special happened, and that's why you have this this curve there between 2017 and 18. Some might still remember the ICO craze back in the days. So we were looking, and again, starting with zero blockchain focus, at roughly 1,000 projects in these early days. And most of them, pardon my French, were rubbish. But you were stuck with the 1%, 2%, 3%, like always, that really got you thinking, right? But what we saw was the maturity level of the blockchain, the Web3, the crypto startups, was below the benchmark. If, let's say the benchmark was fintech, the level, the maturity level, you basically needed a 10-page deck and two guys behind, and you would raise 20 million. So that was not sufficient and not sustainable. So we said, okay, we need to build an ecosystem to help the startups from that space flourish and become sustainable. So we've started to build our very own ecosystem. And just one thing that I think is very special about Switzerland as a blockchain hub, this is research that we do every year. When you take a closer look at the startup, the blockchain startup landscape in Switzerland, is that many of the next generation foundations after Ethereum settled down in Switzerland. That's the top right corner there. As you can see, besides Cardano, there's many other foundations that settled down. So when you join one of our acceleration program, you get access to that ecosystem. You can talk to all these different protocols, to the builders that are based there, and I think that makes Switzerland special, similar to what Dubai has built over the past years as well. So what is that ecosystem approach? Maybe first a few words about CVVC. Yes, we have a Swiss DNA, but our deal flow is very global, so we invest in startups globally, 22 different countries, 75 investments. We invest on the application layer, so not the infrastructure layer. We have global locations in Europe, in Berlin, Lisbon, Vaduz, and we have another hub in Cape Town, because we have an Africa strategy with a dedicated fund. Now, getting back to this ecosystem approach, we probably also dealt with VCs, with funds, if you're one of the builders. And I think every fund out there says we have our own ecosystem, right? Nobody really knows what that means, that term ecosystem, right? So it's just great to have one. We have actually a dedicated unit that is building that ecosystem. So that is, they have their own P&L, and they help the startups within that ecosystem, within our portfolio, flourish with different activities. So we have co-working hubs in different locations. Our largest hub in Switzerland is home to over 150 startups. So again, if you join a cohort for the first 2 weeks, you get access to these builders and to the protocols as well. We do events a bit smaller than this one, but similar ones. We do industry research, startup competition, similar to the Battle of Builders, what we're looking at right now, all really to help the startups network. It was mentioned before, it's very important to also look outside of the ecosystem that is connected to the protocol you're building on. So you have to have access to VCs to support you over time in your path to growth. And this is what we call our ecosystem. It also means, of course, for the investment side on the left, on the right side, we get visibility. We get visibility of the startups globally, because we always, of course, want to find the new ideas on a global scale. At the core of our activities is our own acceleration program, and I would rather have some of our startups. This was the last cohort, batch 6. Currently, batch 7 is on its way, and let's have the founders that joined this cohort talk.
Throughout the 10-week acceleration program, the startups are supported by the CV Labs team, the CVVC investment team, and the mentors and experts. CV Labs and the investment team are very hands-on throughout the program, supporting them in order to get ready for their go-to-market strategy, their fundraising strategy, and anything else they may need in regards to their business model. In the acceleration program, we see a very broad range of use cases across industries. So at CVVC, we invest in all industries. In our investment strategy, we focus on investing in blockchain companies building for real-world application.
It's a long trip all the way from Kenya to here, and I would say it was very worth it. All the bootcamps, all the programs were very key to us, and there was something that we got to learn from each and every segment.
For me and for us, I think it was a fantastic experience to be part of the accelerator. I would say the process of going through the program to get in was very smooth and really good. It was very time efficient, because as a founder, the team is trying to talk to as many people as that possible, and we want that to be really smooth. So that was really good. And then this is our home accelerator. Great that we got in. And actually being here, absolutely blown away by the rest of the cohort. Fantastic people, fantastic ideas, and the quality is very high.
It was just perfect. Like, to be honest, like I see myself having a successful company afterwards, and reminding like about those times as the old days with like very clever people, very talented people. Like, and when I say people, it's Mentor and all the startups. Well, like, yeah, everything was perfect for me.
The ones that were most helpful and most amazing were the connections and the discussions we had with all the protocols. So we met with a lot of the protocols who are based locally based in the valley, and the way we look at it is the value that brings, just those workshops bring to our company, is humongous.
yes, please do apply for our next batch. Applications are open. I try to stay in my time allocation here. I'm not going to bore you with those numbers. I am already bored with them. But that's basically just to tell you, not only us is saying this is a big market, the legacy organizations have the same impression. But what I think what's really interesting about the moment that we are in right now is if you look at the infrastructure level, where we are at right now, many of the initial problems are being addressed or have been addressed: scalability, speed, transaction cost, and all of that, layer 2s, even layer 3s. And we think that we are at an inflection point. And you can see that if you look at many of the protocols and the layer 2s and layer 3s, in what stage they are, right? So they all need adoption in their ecosystem. They need builders, they need clients, they need corporates, all of them. And they are in a phase of professionalization. And that's why we think, given the advancement that have been made in the space recently, we are at this inflection point where exponential growth can happen now. So I think that's a really exciting time to be in right now. Why we, as a VC, are very fond of the space we're at. We're blockchain exclusive, Web3 crypto exclusive. I don't have to tell you a lot about Web3, why this is great. You know why this is great. But what's interesting is there's an intersection of different things happening right now. So of course you have the large tech megatrends, the digitization that is driving all of that. There's other technologies, AI, IoT in there, of course. But it's interesting, blockchain connects more trends, social trends. Just take data ownership, for example, right? People suddenly think about, okay, there's a handful of very large corporates in this world that capitalize on my data. How could we do that differently? Or if you're active in emerging markets like we are in Africa, financial inclusion is a very big topic. So suddenly you have tools, you have means to change something, right? So if your legal tender, if your home currency fluctuates 30, 40, 50%, even more on a daily basis, you probably suddenly find alternatives, leapfrog, and use cryptocurrency for remittance, for example. So there's a lot of interesting things coming together on the megatrend side. And then, of course, the digital asset ecosystem. This is happening right now. You know, big players already jumped on the train. I think blockchain is doing to the financial sector, to the financial industry, what the internet did to the music industry 30 years ago. That says it all, in my opinion. And at the very center of it, it's blockchains, and we think that blockchains really is the accountant technology, the backbone technology of this development. I think we all agree that 10 years down the line, 20 years, it's not going to be less technology, it's not going to be less automation, less digitization. Someone has to hold all these agents out there accountable, especially in the age of AI, and blockchain is that accountant, that backbone technology out there. We're very happy how our funds have developed. We've just recently won an award for our first fund. We've just launched our second fund. The MOM, multiple of money that you see there, is based on the startups that entered our fund first, and already they are at 2.6 multiple of money. That's actually it from my side. I'll leave you with that. I know this is a very fast-paced industry that we're in, but I think you can be sure tomorrow will be even faster. Now, I was asked to say a few words about the prize pool today. I'm not sure if I have to switch the presentation. That's happening right now. So I can maybe speak about what we're contributing to that. The winner of this pitch battle will join our acceleration program with the chance, of course, of an investment of 150K. We normally take around 10 startups per cohort, and most of the times we would invest in all of them. So I guess that's the prize pool. Exactly. And then we have other prizes. We have LandChain with cash prizes up to 130,000. LCX, Liechtenstein Exchange, Monty is here as well, are contributing also 10,000 in ADA, free listing on LCX Exchange. That's of course great. Much more. I can't go in all of the details. And there's many more things that the startups can get here. I think that's repeating a bit. So a great prize pool here for the founders today. That's it from my end. Thank you so much for your attention.